Hey guys, it's Al again, and on last week's political post, we talked about the State of the Union address. And if you want to see that before you watch the rest of this video, if I remember, I don't have an editor, but if I remember, there'll be a card here somewhere. Hopefully I remember. But anyway, there's been some developments with the State of the Union address. Basically, what it boils down to, Trump said something stupid. A political PAC for Trump that I believe is named the Donald J. Trump for President PAC. I could be getting the name wrong, but I think that's what their name is. Did a political ad, and we're going to talk about those two things today. So let's talk some politics. Okay, so in an effort to get right into the meat of this story, after the State of the Union address, Donald Trump made some comments. I'm going to show them to you, and then we're going to discuss.
And it got to a point where I really didn't even want to look too much during the speech over to that side, because honestly, it was bad energy. No, it was bad energy. You're up there. You've got half the room going totally crazy, wild. They loved everything. They want to do something great for our country. And you have the other side, even on positive news, really positive news like that, they were like death and un-American. Un-American. Somebody said treasonous. I mean, yeah, I guess why not? You know, can we call that treason? Why not? I mean, they certainly didn't seem to love our country very much. But you look at that, and it's really very, very sad.
Okay, so y'all heard that. The part that everybody's jumping on is Trump saying that not applauding him was treasonous. The fact that they wouldn't applaud, they sat there stone-faced. It was treasonous. People are jumping on that. I might be in the minority here. I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt that he was just joking. I hope he was just joking. He's not very smart, so maybe he wasn't. But it sounded like a joke to me. I'm willing to let that pass. Although, we will talk about it a little bit here in a couple of minutes. But what really wasn't a joke is the whole un-American thing. He called it being un-American that they weren't applauding him. Well, I hate to tell you, Donnie, but in the history of State of the Union addresses, whenever the opposition party to a president was in the audience and the president said something they didn't like, didn't agree with, they didn't clap. It's the way it works. It's not treasonous. It's not un-American. It's just the way it is. I'm sorry that your feelings are hurt, because that's what that was all about. Little Donnie's feelings are hurt because not everybody loves him. Not everybody agrees with him. His ballsies were wrong on most of the stuff that they weren't clapping or standing for him on. So, yeah, sorry, it's all about him being hurt. Now, if you want to talk about something that's un-American or treasonous, as he used it, what about... Or let's frame it this way. I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead of myself. Let's frame it this way. So when Republicans didn't stand and applaud for Barack Obama or Bill Clinton, were they being treasonous? Were they being un-American? I would love to ask Donald Trump that. I would love to ask him that to see what he'd say. Because you know he'd come up with some BS answer. And no, because I don't agree with them. That's about what his answer would boil down to, and I'd be willing to put money on it, and I'm not a betting man. So, yeah, you got to be consistent here. Either it's it's American all around or it's not American both ways. So which is it? I tend to fall on the side of it's just the way it is. And if you want to talk about, disrespecting a president giving a State of the Union speech, there was actually at least one occasion when a Republican senator stood up and yelled, "You lie," at Barack Obama during one of his State of the Union speeches. And at the end of this video, I will play that video for you. I'm not making it up. It actually happened. They booed him, and he stood up and yelled, "You lie," when everything he said was true. As far as I remember, everything he was saying at the time was true. So, yeah. But then Republicans, hypocrites, pot and kettle, as they say. So moving on from that, I'm trying to shorten these a little bit. But there's one other thing I want to talk about is based on these comments and the State of the Union address, a political PAC, again, as I said at the beginning, I believe their name is the Donald J. Trump for President PAC. I could be remembering it wrong. But they released a political ad. So I want to show you that ad, and again, we're going to discuss after. So watch the ad.
Tonight, I call upon all of us to set aside our differences, to seek out common ground, and to summon the unity we need to deliver for the people we were elected to serve. We have created 2.4 million new jobs. Unemployment claims have hit a 45-year low. African American unemployment stands at the lowest rate ever recorded. This, in fact, is our new American moment. There has never been a better time to start living the American dream.
So the reason I'm bunching these two things into one story is they're basically the same argument. This ad was based right off of Trump's stupid statements, and it basically says the same thing Trump did. It shows you pictures of the Democrats being all solemn and stone-faced and slinking and, not liking what Trump is saying, while he's saying these at least halfway decent things, depending on which part of the video you watch. He mentions, say, the unemployment being down, and you got Bernie Sanders sitting there, not enjoying what he's saying. But what they're not telling you is if you actually watch the speech, those clips don't come while he's saying those things. In fact, when he said decent things, like mentioning the unemployment being down, Democrats applauded him. They didn't give him the rousing standing ovation that the Republicans did, but that's just par for the course. That never happens. You'll get polite applause, but you're not going to get a standing ovation from the other side when you say something everybody agrees with. And things like unemployment being down is something most people agree with. So they took audio clips of him saying one thing, overlaid it during video taken when he was saying other things, and they try to paint the Democrats again as being against the people, being anti-America, being disrespectful, yada, yada, yada. And if you want to know how I feel about that, rewatch the first part of this video because that about says it. It's like, no, they're not, at least not in this. You can find policy cases where you could make that maybe for some of them. But when it comes to them not applauding Trump saying something stupid or racist as he was bound to do in that speech, and he did do in that speech, yeah, they're not going to applaud you for that. They're just not. All right, so that is me condensing these two issues into one thing because they're basically the same argument. And as promised, I'm going to end the video by showing you again the video of a Republican senator standing up and yelling at Obama during his State of the Union speech, which, if we are to believe that Democrats were being un-American and treasonous and all that stuff during Trump's, well, you gotta say this guy was even more un-American, even more treasonous than any of the Democrats were, because none of them jumped up and hollered at Trump. So to let you go for this week, watch the video.
There are also those who claim that our reform efforts would ensure illegal immigrants. This too is false. The reforms I'm proposing would not apply to those who are here illegally. It's not true. And one more misunderstanding I want to clear up. Under our plan, no federal dollars will be used to fund abortions, and federal conscience laws will remain in place. Now,